Mayor, this settlement has clearly had a negative effect on the criminal trial, at least selecting a jury. Why didn't you wait until after the criminal proceedings were over?
So first, I would disagree with the underlying premise.
They kicked two jurors out, Mayor.
So I would disagree with the underlying premise. But I'll pass this off to Mr. Rowader, our city attorney. I'll note that we are required to listen to the court on what we are able to and not able to say with regard to criminal proceedings. Our city and myself, we will continue to do that. As you'll note, we have not commented on the evidence, nor have we commented on the criminal proceedings, and we will continue to do exactly that. With regard to the settlement, we got very clear recommendations from our attorneys given their legal expertise, and I'll note that it was a unanimous decision coming from a very council with many diverse standpoints and backgrounds. Jim?
Yeah, thank you. And I would underscore what the mayor just said about the underlying premise, I think, is certainly remains to be seen, but to date, I would say it hasn't had that impact. With regard to timing in general, there is no good timing to settle any case, particularly one as complex and as involved and sensitive as this. There's no guarantee, for instance, that that deal would be available 2, 4, 6, 8 weeks from now or 6 months from now. And we decided to move forward with the Floyd family when all was said and done.
Hold on a second. What legal advice did you give them? I mean, first of all, I'm sorry, that's one question, but first of all, it's obviously had an impact on the criminal trial. 2 jurors were kicked off, and all of them said they've heard this $27 million settlement, so it's impacted at least a couple of the jurors' objectivity. 99% of these happen after a criminal trial, if I'm not mistaken. So my question is, I mean, you're standing up there saying it didn't have an impact. It has. It's a fact. Why do it early?
Again, I disagree with the underlying premise. I also think it's important to make clear that we are following the judge's instructions and certainly are not willing to speak about events happening in that criminal trial, in that courtroom. It would be inappropriate. I don't think the judge would like us to say one way or the other about the issues you raised that are happening in the trial right now.
Mr. City Attorney, you had a 90-minute press conference last week about this settlement.
And we did not talk about the criminal trial in our press conference.
Okay, then, with respect, aside from the criminal trial, can you talk about the settlement, just the settlement, and why you wanted to release it and announce it prior to selecting a jury?
I think it's also clear from the judge's comments this week that he does not want us to talk about the settlement at this time while they are finishing jury selection. So for that reason alone, we're not going to talk about details related to the settlement. Also, from a practical standpoint, the settlement is still in the process of being finalized, effectuated. It's going to need to go through federal court approval. Until that process is complete, that would also make it very inappropriate to talk about details related to the settlement.